Good morning. Welcome to my neighborhood. Today, I want to talk a little bit about kindness. It's Easter weekend. We're coming up on a whole raft of different religious celebrations. It must be the time of year. Bonnie Henry has a signature line. This is the Chief Medical Health Officer of British Columbia. Has a signature line that says, "Be calm, be kind, and be safe." On Friday, CBC Radio did an early morning special featuring Bonnie Henry, among others, called Kindness. It was very well done, a very nice, gentle approach to the world that we find ourselves living in, which on a base level, biological level, a viral level, does not feel at all kind. And yet, maybe it is. This morning, listening to Cheryl McKay on North by Northwest, CBC Radio in British Columbia, she interviewed a woman who had written a book called The Age of Aquarius. Again, an incredibly positive, really wonderful interview, and I assume the book follows in task. It's about positive aging. It's about having reasons to live. It's about the enormous contributions that a lifetime of knowledge, experience, curiosity, and humor can bring to our communities, our society. At the same time, I've been looking at all these fiat currencies, cyber currencies in this case, looking at tethered currencies, and looking a little bit further at applications built on blockchains. Now, blockchain is the basis on which widely known things like Bitcoin are built, but they have some disadvantages. And we're seeing interesting experiments, some of them portrayed in shows like Black Mirror, some of them real as sort of social credit systems in China. But recently, I've been thinking more about alternatives to blockchain. And yes, this has to do with kindness. Because HoloChain, for instance, is built up on concepts derived from BitTorrent, Git, gossip, encryption, and other things to create a blockchain that's nowhere near as environmentally expensive. Think 1,000 times less expensive, isn't it? You don't have to mine tokens. It's peer-based, and it's all about you having control over all the things about you. Something kind of unheard of these days. But if we're going to build reputation-based economies, one application you could build on HoloChain, it's maybe better if they're bottom-up than top-down. And this is where the kindness comes in. I remember speaking with people at Facebook at a conference about the like button, and of course there isn't a dislike button. There's just a like button, and that was intentional. So, like, reputation, don't know whether that's the most important part, but like has a sense of generosity to it. You know, people often get more out of the things they give than the things they get. And we see this repeated over and over and over for centuries. And more recently in a wide variety of writing and commentary. Birds are out singing this morning. The robins are running around like, well, maybe they're thinking they're large dinosaurs. I'm not sure. They seem to act like it. Haven't seen any bears recently. Lots of deer. So what does that have to do with kindness? Everything. It's about others. And yourself. You gotta be kind to yourself. Squirrels. Running around all over the place there. Not so much about just other, but about the context of other that we find ourselves in. And that includes virtual others. You know, I was looking at a video blog of Isabel Paige the other day, and she told an interesting story. She said that somebody pulled up her long and windy, just barely on the snow-covered driveway, and asked, as she's in the rural area, asked if this is where they could buy eggs. She was very puzzled, having had nobody ever drive up her driveway before, and said no, and the person stopped and looked at her and said, "Is your name Isabel?" She said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, I watch you. I watch your vlog online." And it's a bit weird, I guess. Hadn't happened before. The crossover between virtual and reality, those connections that we make, are they different? What do these vlogs have to do with kindness? You know, are they simply commercial entities that are designed to wring money out of the internet? Are they film producers producing fictional dialogues? Are they substituting for some of the missing social connection that people have? Are they calming? Why do people do this? There's another one that's not quite so personal in a direct way. There's a woman, Mary, who works with NASASpaceflight.com, not NASA. And she goes by Boca Chica Gal. And she does really beautiful, marvelous time lapses of the construction of SpaceX rockets in Boca Chica. Now this sounds a bit trite, and it sounds like it's not personal, and you never see her on camera. But who she is, what she sees in the world, is reflected in her photography, her documenting of the frenetic and curious activity that is effectively an outside rocket factory. But it's gentle. It has no voiceover. It has occasionally a little bit of text labeling things. But again, is very calming. In all these things, there's a sense of kindness and gratitude. And as people are not available in person, close up, for a hug, or anything, these things, these small elements of kindness matter. So, I know it seems a bit weird, this idea of HoloChain and what we normally think of as kindness, but maybe technology can be kind. Maybe it can be kinder. This idea that you have, oh, the sun is just coming through here, this is really nice. Maybe the idea that people sharing their lives, just sometimes mundane parts of their lives, is a kindness. Thoughts, ideas, curiosity, music, dance. How we have been reaching out has been changing in the last year. And even if all of these vaccines provide us with more physical closeness, I'm not sure that these other things we've learned in the last year will go away. So, kindness. I was thinking about Burning Man as well. Burning Man's an interesting beast because, as far as I recall, you can't charge for anything but water, because you're supposed to bring your own. But you don't charge for food, and there's lots of bars and restaurants and stuff like that. It's a cashless economy, not because it's plastic, but because everybody contributes what they can. It's a performance venue where everybody is a performer. Everybody contributes. It's the economy of 70,000 people at a go. So it's not small, and it's not disorganized. And there's a delight in this approach. Kindness. Looking at things as other people might see them. The humor and curiosity that goes with that. The gratitude, the joy in sharing can be quite powerful. So I know I'm mixing up sociology, anthropology, technology, photography, video, dance, and intimate life portraits. But when you write a book, what are you doing? Are you being kind? Are you just writing? But when you write, there's usually an audience, implicit or otherwise. When you read, it's your context and the books and the author. Same happens in software, by the way. The author or authors are reflected in the way the software is presented and interacts with you. This happens right down through the technology stack, right down into the architecture of the hardware. People don't think about the authors, but it has a profound effect on how people use the tools. So back to kindness. What does it mean? What does it mean? Kindness. Well, it's kind of a funny word because we use kind as things like of the same kind. I know that's a different use of the word, but often there's implicit crossovers when we use same words for different purposes. Are we looking at things that are similar when we're being kind? Part of what I do is study neural networks. And one of the interesting things that somebody's brought up recently was about mimes. It was a study about mimes. You know, like miming in the street, clowns, you know, mimes. Silent mimes. And the study was interesting because what they were showing is that with no effort at all, when people watched a good mime, they understood the implied environment that the mime was presenting relative to their interactions. An environment that didn't exist. It was an implied environment. A door they were creeping around, or a box they were jumping over, or something like that. Stairs they were walking up and down. So, if a kindness is a kind of likeness, and a kindness is a kind of goodness to another, or in the context of our environment, how much of it is explicit and how much of it is implied and understood as existing without explicit constructions. This talks a lot to community and what we do when things get rough. Right now, for the last 3 days in British Columbia, and it's April 4th today, I think, we've had our highest number of COVID cases increasing 3 days running. People are being vaccinated as fast as they can here, but we're nowhere near the population densities of other countries. And we have, looks like, variants taking over the dominant positions and some variants that may not be covered by the vaccines. It's spring. People want to be outside. People want to go somewhere else. In this park, I've been doing an informal survey since September, gently asking people where they're from. From October till a few weeks ago, almost everybody was local, from our community. The last few weeks, 80% of the people in the park, that's 80% or more, have been from outside our community. And many, well, all of them, I'm sure, are lovely people. And we're not supposed to be traveling outside our community. Bonnie Henry says, don't travel anywhere that you have to stay overnight, which is a nice rule of thumb. But people seem to think they're invulnerable. And we're starting to see, as announced by the Chief Medical Health Officer in Alberta, a surprising number of cases of outdoor transmission. Kindness. How do you be kind? What kind of kind are you? I don't know any of these answers. In the book Age of Aquarius, Helen noted that when you learn a lot, and you keep learning, you realize how massive the things are you don't know. And if you're curious, it's great motivation to go learn a few more things. And I don't just mean the things in the books and on paper. I mean the things that you discover by making the connections yourself. I think gratefulness and kindness kind of go together. They're the same kind of thing. So I wish you a good day. It's beautiful and sunny here. And I am very grateful that you're here, that you're listening. Click like, click subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.